Good morning, everyone. I am working on more rocks today. Um, I swear they go as quickly as I make them, which is good because that's why I make them, but it does keep me busy. So while I'm working today, I wanted to talk to you about a few things, and please excuse me, I had to get my list. I have a lot of memory issues and often forget words. Had to go through speech therapy for a year to learn how to speak and find my words again, actually. So I have everything written down. So if you hear paper crackling, that's what it is. Okay, so let me give you a little update on the gallery real quick first. We are just starting our 12th week, and it has been busy. You know, when I started the gallery, I imagined a few kids coming every week and picking up some of the crafts that I made, and that would be that. Never in a million years did I think I would be making craft kits. They're not making the craft kits, but supplying what we need for the craft kits, and that we would have 80 kids a week come by. But that is what's happening. So that is a joyous thing. I'm peeling off the back of this napkin, but there's a second layer that doesn't want to come off for me. But I will get it, because I am tenacious, if nothing else. Normally I would just take a piece of washi tape and pull it apart, but well, I don't have washi tape outside with me. I don't know if you can hear it, but from time to time you'll hear my wind chimes, which is my favorite sound. And the birds here just love to sing. They sing all day long, and it's a beautiful sound. Okay, so we have mostly families that come and visit. The last couple of years it was just the kids who would stop by after school or when they were out playing, but this year it's actually entire families who come, which I think is pretty amazing. Oh, you give it up. I'm going to get you. I don't have any tape down here either. So I want to give a shout out to all the parents, because I know being a full-time mom is the hardest job in the world. And got it. And going to work, you know, being a dad who works, you're tired. At the end of the day, you're really, really tired, and you just want to eat dinner, maybe watch a little TV, and go to bed. And what I am finding after talking to all these families is that's not really what's happening anymore. The families are spending time together and crafting together and making beautiful memories together. And that just makes me so happy. So all I'm doing now, I've already picked out the napkins that I'm going to use that on the rocks on my desk. And all I'm doing now is tearing off the edges. And it's a lot easier if I just put a little bit of water on a paintbrush and they come out really smooth. And you see that jaggedness? You want the jaggedness. It looks really cool on the rock. I lost my place. So we need to go back down here. There we go. And then a little bit here at the bottom. Another thing, if you've never done this before, man, keep your paintbrushes in water, because I am terrible about forgetting to wash my paintbrushes. and then I get busy with something else, and I end up throwing away paintbrushes because after a certain point you can't save them, especially depending on what medium you've been working with. So I always keep 2 cups on my craft table. This first one is clear water, and that's what I put my Mod Podge brushes in to keep them moist. And then these are all the paint brushes for, like with this one I painted the back of it. Well, I painted 1 coat. It'll get another coat before it's done. Okay, do we have it all now? Yeah, this one is going to hang over a little bit, but that's okay because I can just come back through later and take my little wet paintbrush and tear it off again. When you're putting on, when you're putting on your first layer of Mod Podge, you want it completely covered, but you don't want it doused. And sometimes that's a hard line to get to. And you have to be careful because once you put that napkin down, it's down. You don't move it. Or at least very rarely can you move it. And then just like I showed in the other video, I go from the inside and I press it down all the way. Don't get worried. Whoa, hello, my table just fell down. Sorry. Don't get worried if you have little wrinkles in it, like right here. I think the wrinkles are cool and they add texture and they add personality to it. Okay, so I'm going to let this rest before I do the sides. I'm just going to push it off and let the top part dry. Next, I have this napkin, and unfortunately, it only has 1 design on it. I wish there were more because I really like that. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. But somebody was kind enough to give me this, so I will be thankful for that. You always want to remember to take off those back layers. And like I said, normally just a piece of tape will do it. And I always keep the layers because that's what I wipe my paintbrushes on. Well, this one came off easily. Cool. Okay. I think right there is going to be our best bet for this one. Pardon the arm. I want to push this back a little bit more. Okay, so yeah, we can get that to fit. So let's cut out the design. And I'll have to trim it down again, just because I would rather take more off than figure out the best way to put it on, which I've had to do on several occasions. Okay, so the parents who come here have been so encouraging, and they've shared so many stories about what our little art gallery means to them and their family, and how the kids don't want to play with their electronics, they want to make crafts, and that just brings so much joy to my heart. So I want to thank them. And then I want to tell you a little story about an incident that happened. And I won't tell the name of the store because it is a major craft chain. And although I will now be boycotting this one store, that's my choice. that's not what you have to do. Anyway, so when it first became obvious that this was not going to be a 15 child a week project, I reached out to every store that sells crafts in my area, every single one. And I made up really cute cards that had pictures of the kids' work on it. And I made a folding card that had information about the art gallery. And then I wrote a letter telling them about, what our mission is, which is basically to bring joy and creativity and positivity to children. And I sent out dozens and dozens and dozens of these, and did not get one reply back. Well, I just happened to be at one of these stores one day because they had a really good sale, and I thought, while I'm here, I'm just gonna reach out and talk to the manager and see if he got my letter, because in the letter I specifically said, we are not asking for donations of money. I know that you cannot give us new items because we are not a not-for-profit organization. All I am asking is if you have things that you are throwing away, if you have things, scraps of material left over from a sewing class, anything, little bitty scraps, we don't care. We can make art out of it and we can use it. And so I asked for the manager. He came out. I was not feeling well that day. I've been sick for the last couple weeks actually, but I asked if we could talk privately because I needed to sit down, so he took me into a different room, and I told him that I had written these letters, and I understood that maybe he had not received it, maybe a different manager had gotten it, but I had not had any response. So I was wondering if I could just talk to him a little bit about our free little art gallery and what we do and why we do it and how we do it. And he said, okay. So I told him. And then I stressed again, I am not asking you for money. I am not asking you for new products. I am asking literally for your trash. Things that are usable, but you're going to throw away. That's all I'm asking for. And this man looked at me and said, no. And then he got up and walked out of the room. Now, if he'd have said, no, I'm sorry, it's against our policy, or no, I'm sorry, we save all of our scraps, or the people take their scraps home, that would have been fine. I would have thanked him and left, and there would have been no hard feelings. But this man literally just said no and walked out of the room. And I, who am not normally a very emotional person, but am currently on really, really high doses of steroids, went out to my car and I cried for half an hour. Just cried at the cruelty. And all I could think of was, I'm asking for their trash. I'm literally begging people for trash to keep this going. And how could he be not so heartless to say no, but so heartless in his delivery of no? And it really bothered me. It bothered me a lot. I cried a lot for the next couple days about it. So I decided to get back up on the horse, and the next day I had received a call from a couple agencies that work with special needs children, and they had heard about our program and they wanted to know if they could participate. And, you know, these are people that I had sent emails to, because I think that all children, no matter what issues they may have, all children deserve to enjoy the creativity and the joy of making something, and the pride when they finish their work. I'm going to use that one, I think. Is this one better? Nope, that one hangs out even more. So they were both very on board for it. They're wanting to get the information out to their families. I said, that's fine. I even gave them my personal phone number and said, just have them call me, have them text me. I understand that some of these children may not be able to do some of the exact projects that we're doing, but I can modify kits. I can make up something special so they still get a craft kit. And I was really happy. And I stopped to think for a minute and thought, I might want to get some expert help here, because I've never done anything like this. Literally, I am flying by the seat of my pants. I have no idea what I'm doing. All I know is that the kids are happy, and that's the whole point. So I called the Art Council of St. Louis, because we live in Missouri. I live maybe half an hour, 40 minutes from St. Louis itself, from the city. And this man told me that what I was doing was not feasible and could not be sustained. And that what I needed to do was find a large agency that does have the tax exempt status. Oops, that's going to go right to the table. And let them absorb the little art gallery. And I said, well, would they keep it here? Because I wanted it for my local kids. And he said, well, no, you know, probably not. We'll move it up to the city probably. But they can get more funding and they can do more projects. And I went, but, you know, this is really working. And he said, no, I am sorry I keep hitting that stupid thing. He was quite adamant that I could not do what, in fact, we were doing. And he said it was unsustainable. Well, you know what? I believe that I'm being called to do this. I worked and served my community for 40 years in emergency services. And that was the hardest part of getting sick, is I could no longer do that. And I believe that this is a way that I can do that again. Granted, it's in a completely different way, but it's equally important, because before I dealt with bad, horrific things, the kind of things that give you nightmares 10 years later. And here, all I'm dealing with is joy. The joy on the parents' faces, the joy on the kids' faces, the pride that the kids have when they make their projects and they bring them to me so that I can see the completed work. Excuse me. And I'm not taking that away from these kids. And so this is what I think. I feel in my heart that this is what I'm being called to do. Now, take that as you like it. I believe in God, I believe in a higher power, but I believe that this is what I am meant to be doing. And I'm sorry, but when God tells me to do something, my answer is yes. It is yes. And I will admit that I have had moments, another one I'm going to let dry, where I doubted the ability to do this, because there have been many, many weeks when a project called for a certain thing and I didn't have any of it. or I knew I didn't have enough of it at the very least. How do I want to do this? The rabbit with the flower, I think. Yeah, rabbit with the flower. So I just cut my faith. And sometimes members of my family didn't understand, because in the beginning it was very, oh no, oh no. I just put my water brush into, and I almost just did it again, into the Mod Podge. I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I never lost my faith. And the only thing that I had an issue with was, am I doing this because it's something I want to do and I'm doing it for prideful reasons? Or am I truly doing it for the reasons that I think I'm doing it, which is to help kids, especially kids whose families are struggling right now? Because if you didn't know, I came from a very, very poor family, and nothing like this was ever available to us. So what started happening was I would need something and a donation would appear with it. One week we really needed ribbon. We always need ribbon, always. But we really needed ribbon for this one project. And I was on the phone with my therapist, actually, and said, you know, I'm really worried. I don't have enough ribbon to do this whole thing, but I'm keeping my faith. I'm gonna keep the faith. And within an hour, a delivery from our Amazon wish list came with 48 rolls of ribbon. And then a few hours later, a lovely woman who I've never met before, and who told me that she doesn't have kids, but she heard about us, so she follows our Facebook group. And she said, you know, I'm not a crafty person. I don't do things like that, but I went through my whole house and I picked out anything I thought you might be able to use. And here it is. And I cried. So there's that. And then another day when I was doubting myself, a beautiful family came. Husband, wife, and 4 girls. And she asked me if they could pray with us. And my husband was sitting on the porch. And when we were done, I walked over, I'm like, if you don't think that was a sign from God, then something's wrong here. So I believe in what I'm doing. I believe I'm doing it for the right reasons. I believe these rocks are never going to get dry. Okay, this one's kind of dry. It's cool, but it's really humid. Like, not raining yet, but it's going to. And that one. Okay, so on the back of this, let me dig out my paints. I want to put this, just this really pretty pearl white. Before I do, can I, yeah, I can take this off without hurting it. Please forgive my terrible hands. My fingernails are not dirty. That's paint underneath them. I wake up in the morning and I have clean hands. But by 10 o'clock, they're dirty for the rest of the day. No matter how many times I wash them, I can never get all the paint off my hands. Until I wash my hair. And then I guess the action of scrubbing with my hair gets it out. I don't know. Okay, a little bit. We're just going to try to get it right on there. I am almost out of this paint. Okay, nope, we're not going to do that. Oh, that's the problem right there. Let me See that? So almost all of the paint that I have from my own personal collection, I bought off Marketplace. And I've gotten some good deals. I have also gotten a lot of paint that is useless. But I learned to make it work. Uh-oh, there's an edge that's down and needs just a wee bit more Mod Podge. Let's use this one. This one, get in there. It's right there. Okay. So anyway, moving on. One of the things that worried my family the most, and I think worried anybody who knows me the most, is that I was taking so much on. Because this is a pretty big endeavor. And I knew I could handle it in the beginning because we didn't have that many kids. But as the kids kept coming, it kept getting harder. And there was more prep work. And it scared my family. Because, you know, I got some things going on. And I have to take oral chemo twice a day and immunosuppressants twice a day. And I'm exhausted all the time. So it's not that they didn't believe in the gallery. It's just that they were worried for me. Okay, let's try doing the sides of these. We might have to stop and let me put a fan on it or something. But I put out a call. I didn't put out a call, I just posted, hey guys, this is getting to be a lot. I could use some volunteers. And I now have 6 amazing people who have taken such a load off of me. All I have to do is tell them what I need and they get it done. So that leaves me basically to where all I have to do anymore is stock the art gallery, make sure it's full every day, and paint rocks and do lots of decoupage rocks because we can't keep up with them. But I like doing it, and I'm sorry I probably did all of that out of frame. Kind of have to get up close when you're doing it to see where everything is. So anyway, big shout out to our volunteers. Could not do this without you. Uh-oh, trying to stick to my finger. And I appreciate you guys more than you know. You know, the other thing that has become apparent, which once again just kind of blindsided me, certainly didn't see it coming. I live in a very caring community. And, you know, when you're a police officer or a 911 dispatcher, both professions I've done, you don't get to see that very often. You get to see the horrible things. And you kind of lose your faith in humanity. I certainly did. So, my community is amazing and supportive. And, you know, this was my project when I began. It's not my project anymore. This is a community project. It is absolutely a community project. Oh, please don't be stuck to my fingers. Okay. So, that one. And then I'll paint the back. That wrinkled up a bit on me. I'm going to paint the back with this with a metallic. Oh, come on. How bad is it? Yeah, it's really wrinkled. Okay, let's try to unwrinkle the wet Mod Podge soaked napkin. Or I can just rip it off. ripping it off works too. See? Nothing we can't fix. Okay. I'm sorry, I've just been blabbing and I don't even know. Holy cow, 30 minutes already. I didn't mean to make it this long. But as anybody who has ever stopped to talk knows that I can talk your ear off. Okay, so I'll save the rest of this for another video. But I do want to mention a couple things. One, I am really hoping that people are made aware of what we do and people share our videos. Not because I think we're going to make a lot of money, because that just doesn't happen. But maybe it'll somehow make its way to a company that distributes art supplies. And maybe they would be willing to give us the things that, you know, were maybe only half filled or weren't marked as the right color, or, you know, things that they are going to have to discard. Once again, gladly take your trash. We'll be very thankful for it. And the other thing, oh, so if you can do that whole like, share, leave a comment, whatever it is that get those algorithms going, if you could do that, I would be extremely thankful. Oh, is this one dry enough? Yeah, I think I can make this one work. My other big reason for doing the videos is because, as far as I have been able to find, and I've asked every Free Little Art Gallery group that I can find, as far as I have been able to find, I am the only one in the entire country that is doing this. Where, yeah, I make stuff and I leave it for the kids, these rocks being a perfect example, but our main goal is to get the kids creating themselves and to give them every tool that they need to make that happen. And in today's economy, every tool means everything that they need, from scissors to glue to sparkly things. If it's something that I think that they're going to need in a kit, it goes in the imagination station and it's free for them to grab. And the kids also know that if they've finished their project and they need some more supplies for at home, they can come to this imagination station anytime. Well, during daylight hours, because they're kids and I want them to be safe. But they're welcome to come here anytime and take what they need. It's not stealing, it's enabling creativity. If you haven't joined our Facebook group yet, please do. I give daily updates on it. It is Free Little Art Gallery dash Barnhart, and Barnhart is B-A-R-N-H-A-R-T. So Free Little Art Gallery dash Barnhart. I will leave a link in the description. If you are wanting to help us continue, by all means, we'll be happy to take a GoFundMe donation. When I purchase something using the money, I always make it a point to send the receipt of the purchase to the person so that they know that their money was actually used for what it was intended. And if you go to our page, even if you don't join the group, it's a public group, look through the pictures of all the things the kids have made and look at their faces and look at the joy and the pride. And if you could take just a second to write a comment, wow, good job, that's great color, whatever, because the kids know that their pictures are being posted. And how cool would it be if the parent can go, hey, There's 5 comments. 5 people commented on what you made today. You want to hear what it is? Think about the excitement and joy that that would bring to that child's life. So I will leave you with that. I will probably be back tomorrow making more rocks. But I don't have enough to fill the garden yet. But I have enough to fill some holes. So this is what I got done today. This is pretty much dry. I can flip it. So those are our rocks for today. And if you're in the area, if you live in the Barnhart area, come by. I am almost always on my porch. Come by, visit, say hi. If you want to learn how to decoupage rocks, I have plenty. Did you know you can buy rocks for 50% off at Home Depot if the bag's open? Didn't know that till last night. I got 4 bags of rocks today. So we're set. Anyway, thank you for coming. If you made it all the way through this video, I appreciate you taking the time to listen to us. And please share, please like, please do all the things that will help the kids. Bye.